When I look at these guitars as a collection, I can pretty much map out my life through the story of these guitars. One of the stories that this guitar book has that other guitar books don't have is the story of me being influenced by different generation of musicians. On and on it goes, this sort of, I guess, connection between musicians that I've revered and have influenced me, and then musicians that I know and in some cases that I have influenced. Because I've been so closely associated with the guitar and all of these guitars that I've chosen for this book, that it's the story of someone's life told through very, very beautiful objects. So when I formed the Smiths, I wanted to get a Gretsch, just because, you know, Gretsches were sort of fashionable with the in my circles, really. I couldn't afford a big, like the big classic Gretsches that I got later on. And this was the only one I could afford, but it worked out okay because it's quite an interesting guitar. This is a Gretsch Super Axe, and when I got this, I wrote and recorded Hand in Glove on it, which is. I did a number of our early gigs on this and wrote probably half of the first album on it. I only recorded Hand in Glove with it. By the time we came to do the first album and the rest of the early set, I'd got the black Rickenbacker, but that's another story. Because I think there is a human story behind these guitars, i.e. my life. Historically, guitars do have this kind of association with certain kind of sounds and songs. So I recorded What Difference Does It Make on this one, and it isn't the sound of it on the record isn't your usual sort of Rickenbacker kind of thing that people associate with Rickenbackers. I got this guitar, this was the second proper guitar that I owned in the Smiths, when I got enough money together to get a backup, because I was always snapping strings and it was a nightmare. This was the one that I went for, and I deliberately went for it because you don't really do rock on it. You know, it's not really a rock guitar. So What Difference Does It Make was. And I suppose it was a new kind of thing to do in a Rickenbacker, really. I got success with the Smiths pretty quick, and therefore I was able to get a few guitars quite quickly after the band took off. Getting a guitar like this and some of my other guitars did up my game as a player, because you want to be good enough to play that guitar. But like the intro of Girl Afraid, that came about because this guitar, it's quite easy to play on this guitar, but I do have this thing about you are what you play, and I was very hyperactive, still kind of am in a way, but that is a hyperactive guitar riff played by a hyperactive person or written by a hyperactive person.
I look at these things as, they're like art, and I want to be able to express that in a photograph.
Having Pat's eye and the way he sees things, literally zoom in and get right in there with the stories of these instruments is there's a story there, and it's also very artistic. I'm a big fan of his work. He's not just a photographer, but he's an artist. But what he does with instruments, he has an eye that I've never seen anyone do anything like it. So this is the Martin D28 from the late 60s that I wrote There Is a Light On and quite a lot of other Smith songs back in the day. I wrote While I Wonder on it, and yeah, a few other things, Cemetery Gates. But I liked playing in this key with capo on that 4th fret, still do, and the guitar seems to like it. It seems to suit the way I play, and the guitar just suggested those chords to me. First off, I think it's going to be a beautiful thing, the book of these beautiful objects. Guitars are interesting not only to me because they're mine, but they're really quite an unusual and personal collection that I've got. So, you know, me being a guitar nerd, I've got loads of guitar books, and there's some amazing ones out there, but I think there are people who like the look of guitars. We want to take the kind of train spotter aspect out of it. I'd like to think that this book would be a guitar book for people who wouldn't necessarily ordinarily buy guitar books for themselves.